oh, these guys, Bales, these are leaving with me.
Man, I love the way you play.
Appreciate it,
What a
brother.
unique style. How's it going, everybody? Nick DiVirgilio hanging out with the one and only Daru Jones.
Thanks for having me, brother
Man,
Nick.
welcome to have, thank you so much for being here.
Appreciate
It's really
it.
a pleasure to have you here. It's been a while since I've seen you.
Yes, sir. It's
You've
been
been doing great things, even through all this crazy time of year of 2020. And man, I just love hearing you play because nobody plays like you. We're all unique in our own special way, but nobody plays like Daru Jones.
Oh my God, I appreciate it. Nobody plays like Nick.
Well, thank you, thank you. What I think is cool is even when you're just doing like a free form just jam right there, there's always pocket. The pocket is still really deep in there. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much. I think I speak about this. If the audience is not bobbing their head or nobody's not tapping their feet, then we're not doing our job.
Yeah, that's true.
So if Nick is not moving around, then we might get docked. We might get fined.
Right. Well, we're hanging out here today in Sweetwater's video studio. Daru's got his PDP signature kit here, but we're talking about sounds and different things you can do to your drum kit to inspire creativity.
Yes, sir.
Now you have some different percussion that you place on your floor tom legs, basic stuff, cowbells, wood block or plastic block, tambourines and stuff like that. But even when you put those little sounds around your kit, how much does it open up your grooves? How does that make you feel when you hear those sounds?
That's a good question because as a drummer, I try to be like the drummer and the percussionist at the same time.
Right.
So that's why I have these toys added. And I remember when my setup has changed, my configuration. The floor tom used to be right here, but I moved everything this way because once I like to keep it different when people are catching on.
Sure.
So let me switch it up. So basically, when I moved the floor tom to the front, I was like the roster again. I was like, man, what can I do with that? And I think a friend of mine from an event that I was playing with the DJ, he was like, man, it'd be cool. Maybe you should add some percussions. You know what I'm saying? I always try to play with a couple of percussions because it just adds another
flavor.
Another flavor, yeah. Because in the hip hop world, a lot of times the composers they're producing these loops, but they add in stuff on top to add some flavor and make it percussive. So so basically my current configuration, other than the stems coming out, LP they make these cool percussions and they it worked out for my kit. And
Right, because you can attach them all over your drum set.
Exactly.
Right.
So basically, I'm just looking to add, like, if I was playing the drums and I wanted to make it sound like two people at one time, I just, hit the cowbell, make it sound like a clap, like a snap, finger snap.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Or the cowbell, I may accent certain things to kind of give it that flair. But yeah, that's the vibe. It's add another color, another element.
Sure. Well, let's. You did a little opening jam there. Give us some demonstrations on how you would use some grooves and how you're going to utilize those different sounds.
Yeah, so just thinking of like, I may not be able to remember where these breaks come from, but it's a familiar break that I would hear, this cowbell groove, and it went something like this.
Okay.
So like that, you know what I'm saying?
Groovy,
so
groovy.
if you're just playing a pocket groove and you want to switch it up and you want to make people, get a little excited, you know what I'm saying? You just play this. So little stuff like that.
Totally, yeah.
And then also with the tambourine, basically like if you're working in a band and they may not have a budget to bring a percussionist,
Sure.
have no fear. You can be the percussionist.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying? So you can. I'm gonna show you 2 ways you can use a tambourine. So I may accent it with on a 2 and 4 with the snare. So it'll be like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or you can. That. And then also, if you're playing, I like to do this too. It's a familiar pattern. So.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? You got options.
Totally.
When you go to these gigs, you know what I'm saying? It may be a rock concert, but sometimes you have the hip hop guys, they like rock, and it may be a producer in the audience.
Sure.
If you break that thing out, it might get you
Another gig.
session.
Totally.
Another gig or session work.
Yeah. Well, you have a couple other things down by your right side on the floor there, some different sounds. Let's put those on the kit and just see where it takes you.
Oh, these guys.
Yeah, those things.
Okay. Okay.
You got a big fat snare drum.
Oh, my friends, Chris.
Yeah. And a couple tambourine, big fat snare drum pieces.
Okay.
You put them around your kit. Basically, the way I was thinking about this is, and I was talking about this kind of thing with a friend of mine the other day. You know how guitar players, they want a different sound to kind of give them inspiration? They can go buy something like a $100 pedal and get totally different sound palette and get totally inspired. But drummers, we can do the exact same thing.
Facts.
We don't have to buy kits all the time. A new kit is great, but we can't always afford brand new kits all the time. But we can afford things like this and different things that will totally change up our inspiration and creativity. So let's put those on the kit and let's see where it takes you.
Yeah, so I'm just going to demonstrate so y'all can hear the tone. So basically, you know, I don't have anything, no putty or anything to dampen the sound. Yeah. So right now, because I kind of like this vibe, so it's pretty open. You take this guy right here, we're gonna see what we can get. You know what I'm saying? It brings the tone a lot deeper and lower. And yeah, good if you're playing like the rock and roll songs where, you know, you don't have to compromise and untune, you know what I'm saying? Because the song, I mean, the singer might be like, man, come on with it. If you got to detune it, but you can just throw that on and change the sound. And I like these guys. Basically, I try to use these for like the cymbals so I can get that little ring. Basically, back in the days, a lot of cymbals, a lot of people, they use the rivets.
Right.
Remember that sound with the rivets? They kind of had like that little buzz, the little jingle sound, but now you don't have to get the drills. You can just put these on and take them off. So I like to put one on the hi-hat too. Okay. To kind of jingle it up. So as you hear the chick. So now you're 2 people. Now you got the tambourine vibe with the hi-hat. Same with the cymbal. So that's a really, really cool effect that you can use. And yeah. So let's see what we can do with this. There you have it, the jingles.
Nice. Now, do you normally play with big hi-hats? You took a couple of crash cymbals and turned them into hi-hats, which I think is great. I've seen a bunch of drummers do that, and it's a cool, deep sound.
Thank you.
Is this a normal go-to for you?
It depends on what I'm playing.
Yeah.
Obviously, with Jack, I just wanted to follow suit because I noticed all the rock guys, they use big stuff, big kits and big everything. So that's when I started, you know, changing the size. And I like, you know, I think I do something similar like this when I'm playing rock gigs. I think what I had to do, I had to put 2 crashes together. So luckily that's what we have today.
Which is a cool sound.
Yeah. It's you know, rock and roll.
Yeah.
So it's just like. So they work, you know what
Totally,
I'm saying?
man. That's great.
Big boys.
Yeah. Before we get on to some more sounds, when you were growing up playing drums, did you ever set up your drums in the normal fashion?
Yes, I did.
This came later, right?
This came later.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so, coming up in church, we had a lot of drummers. A lot of my cousins and uncles, they played drums. So everybody had the basic 5-piece setup. And at that time, the popular kit, well, all churches had Pearl drum kits. But then eventually we graduated to Yamaha, the Stage Custom.
Sure.
Remember those?
Oh, yeah.
And then the Rototoms were popular. So we had the Rototoms, regular, Vinny, setup, the basic. And then eventually, as my career progressed, when I wanted to be a John River Benny drummer.
Okay.
Because I was inspired by Steve Gadd, like those type of guys. And like yourself, back in John River Ben, and Steve doesn't overplay. He can, you put him in a jazz setting, he doesn't overplay, he gets the job done.
Sure.
And I want to be that, you know what I'm saying? So when I started making different evolutions in my career, when I went from playing gospel to learning about the fusion, I did what the fusion guys did, as being inspired. And then when I started playing hip hop, being that guy, I didn't need as much notes, much sounds, and just bare bones, just a snare. You know what I'm saying? So, and then eventually when I started in the middle of my hip hop career, I remember at the time, I think the Roots was the first hip hop band that I saw play live hip hop. And in the hip hop community, they always be like, yo, don't copy off my style, or don't copy off my look. Fashion-wise, you would get in a fight if you walked in the room. You know what I'm saying? Somebody had on the same outfit or a necklace.
Right.
So, or you sound like them. So I was like, man, I remember seeing Amir, he just had the snare drum and the floor tom, and just thinking about that mentality, I started becoming this hip-hop guy. And I was like, man, I don't want my kid to look like Questlove. So I was like, what can I do to make, to make it look different?
Do your own thing, yeah.
Yeah, so basically I play traditional.
Right.
So I started doing the snare drum that way, and then one day I woke up, I was like, what would happen if I do the floor tom that way? So it was awful looks, really.
Sure.
But I had to change my vocabulary and figure out what to play.
Sure.
Because I was used to going up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had to figure out, how to go down, and eventually I grew into it, but it was awful looks.
That's cool. Well, man, it's a great look. I mean, you see you playing with Jack White. You play a bigger kit with Jack White with bigger, sort of normal sized drums.
Yes, sir.
But it looks cool, let alone sounds great, because it's unique.
Thank you. Well, it's hard when your boss is a drummer, because he
yeah.
knows what's good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he's already unique within himself.
Sure.
So I guess he obviously liked what I brought to the table, and he wanted to bring that. Right. I think he was blown away by the configuration, and I'm thankful. But I think as a drummers, this is your identity.
Right.
You like when you get dressed. You know what I'm saying? You're a nice dresser, so I'm sure when you go through your closet, you're looking for certain things that's going to make you stand out, because image is everything.
Sure.
And when you buy the Modern Drummer magazines, they profile the drummer and they drum kits. That's their identity. Mm-hmm. Same thing, like what how you look when you go out the house. So I feel like it's very important. Depends on the type of drummer that you want to be. I'm not knocking. Some people, they just want to be a session drummer.
Right.
They don't want to stand out. But if you want to maybe get more jobs like Brother Nick, you know what I'm saying, you gotta maybe try to add something.
Totally, man. We got to stand out amongst the crowd somehow, right?
Yes, sir.
That's right.
They put us in the back.
That's true. That's true. All right, so we're gonna change it up here a little bit.
Okay.
We have some other things that aren't on camera yet, but I'm just gonna put them around the kit.
Oh wow, you got some treats.
And you just do whatever you do with it, and then we'll talk about the gear in a second.
Okay.
So how about you start doing a groove, and I'll just kind of bring these things and place them, and you see what happens.
Okay.
All right? I'll just surprise you.
Okay.
I found these too.
Oh, wow. What? I've never seen this before. Okay.
Make something with that?
Let me see. This is crazy.
That's cool, man.
Wow, toys.
Deep groove.
I got to, because you got to be dynamic with these.
Totally. That's what's so cool about all this stuff is that you have to play with different levels. You can't just go straight one thing. It makes you play with, you need space,
Yes.
you need loudness, you need quietness, you need all the stuff in between, which makes it so musical.
Wow, my head is cracked. Let me see what else I can do with this.
Okay.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah, man.
Jingle bells early.
Totally.
That's cool.
I think it's kind of dumb to say, but drummers are musicians too. I mean, this tone palette that we have in front of us can make a lot of things happen, and it really just the dynamics that you're playing with is great. I love how soft you're barely touching the snare drum, and then when you hit it hard, you hit it hard. It really just makes you sit up in your seat. It's really cool.
Thank you. Another thing too, because I actually have a set of these, or you can do the same thing.
Yeah.
And they're a lot more lighter, you know what I'm saying? So let me try this. Okay. Wow.
There you go.
Options.
Totally.
Another cool trick that we can try out. This is so big it can go right on the ride cymbal. So.
Groovy, man.
I gotta step my Nick game up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, come on now.
I wish I had your job sometimes because you get to try the newness.
I do. I'm spoiled here, man. I get to play with all the new toys that come through.
How does that feel?
It's great. It makes you realize how cool all these companies are and what these people behind the scenes do and how creative they are and coming up with new things for us to make music with. And listen, the drums have been around for a long time. Tambourines have been around for a long time. And just making little new things to put on your cymbals and just new toys just keeps more people coming back to the instrument, brings new people to the instrument, and makes us more creative as we get older.
Yeah, I'm just thankful that the companies are being a lot more innovative now.
You bet.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad they're now trying to figure out a way to fuse the electronic sound or percussive sounds with the drums.
You bet.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
So yeah, we want to talk about the treats that I'm using today. Shout out to LP. They come up with these new goodies. Tambos, brass and steel. You know what I'm saying? They're very optional. So, you know what I'm saying? They come in various sizes. What's my guys over at Big Fat Snare Drum? These are a lot more lighter. I like the weight on these because these may, seem like they're going to be a little bit more durable. More tricks, LP, never can go wrong. LPs, the regular percussion, they've been around for a while. So these guys, bells, all the sounds, you know what I'm saying? I actually might get a set of these and add to my setup. I've been inspired. Thanks to
Brother Nick. What, you came up here for a reason, right?
Yeah, so y'all might not see these today when I leave.
You will be driving home later, so I think they'll fit in the back seat nicely. Nice.
Yep. But yeah, experiment, find your sound. And you have a lot of options, you know what I'm saying? A lot of companies out there doing some cool things. And when you can, come to Sweetwater to get the goods.
Well, there you go. Said it all right there. Yeah, man.
Holla at your man's brother Nick, you know what I'm saying?
Daru, thanks so much for coming and sharing your sound and your philosophy and showing your creativity with all of us here today. It's really cool.
Thanks for having me.
You're right, man. Check out different sounds, change up your kits. Don't be afraid to grab something from here, put it on there, and just see what sound it makes and see where it takes you.
Facts.
That's right. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. If you want any more information about any of the gear Daru's playing here, from Peisty, PDP, Remo, Big Fat Snare, Ahead, or Sticks, just contact your Sweetwater sales engineer. We'll talk to you again soon.